All right, looks like we're live. Welcome everyone. Welcome to Adobe InDesign live on Tuesday. Welcome everyone. Welcome to folks follow me on Twitter as well. And I'm very happy to be here today to talk about a topic I do once a year. And this is it. How to create holiday greeting cards in various Adobe applications. We're going to start off and do the bulk of it in InDesign. But for those of you who are not InDesign users, I've got some tips and tricks for you as well towards the end. And we're going to try and keep this probably to under 20 minutes, unless you guys tell me otherwise. But we're going to try and keep it to under 20 minutes. And if I cough or try and clear my throat, it's because I'm clearing my throat. Anyway, welcome everyone. Let's go ahead and get the chat window open here. And for those of you watching this on replay or repeat, thanks again for joining us via the recording. And if you want to join us live, I'm usually doing InDesign streams on Tuesdays. So I see Victoria, Diego, Jason, Edgar, Elise, if I said that pronouncing, I'm not sure, but if not. And I see I love Dana Simone and Bake Like a Pro and Mikey and everyone else on Twitter as well. So welcome everybody. Glad to have you all here. And without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and dive right into today's topic because again, we're going to keep it short. All right, so let's go ahead and switch over to the computer. I've got Adobe InDesign CC already running. I'm going to show you how to get the free templates that we're going to work on today. So if you are a CC member, if you've got InDesign, then you're probably a CC member on CC. If you're an InDesign CC member on CC, you've got InDesign. So let's go ahead and I'm on the welcome screen, and right here at the very bottom, it says search Adobe Stock. Now, before I do that, let's say I didn't know that I could even look for a template there. I can just go ahead and say create new, and that's where it brings up the template browser. And I've already downloaded one called Christmas Postcard Layout. I think that's the one we'll probably use. But I just want to show you how I got that one and how to get others. So this template browser will show you templates based on print designs. So there's some very cool ones here for print that I use all the time. Web design, meaning I'm usually going to use these if you're going to show these on the internet via the Publish Online feature, as well as mobile. So some mobile layouts that look good on mobile devices like tablets. And of course, the ones you've saved and the ones you've used recently. But at the very bottom of this window, it says find more templates on Adobe Stock, because even though this is loaded with quite a few, this isn't loaded with all of them. So sometimes there are new templates that come in all the time that aren't in the application yet. So I can either search down here for holiday or Christmas or whatever meets your fancy. So let's say I do holiday. When I click go, that's going to take me to my web browser, and it's going to go find some holiday templates, one of which I've already licensed. And these are all free. So these three designs are free for you to use. Now, you don't have to use a template. If you're design savvy, you can start with a blank page as you always did with InDesign. But for those that say, I need a little help, or at least inspiration, maybe not even help, just some inspiration on some modern designs, because these are all professionally designed by graphic designers. So let's say I want this one. I can go ahead and just license it and choose which library it's going to go to. And once that's been licensed, if I head back over to InDesign, I did not pay anything for it. It was just a free license, and I can't close this for a second and go back in, say new. Then that new New Year's one is there as well. So it won't populate the template browser while you're in the template browser. So just close it and reopen it, and then you should see any templates that you've downloaded. Now, I just want to point out something. Let me pop back over to the browser for a second. And I said this, I would do this for people that aren't necessarily on InDesign, or InDesign is not your strong suit. Notice that it says it's searching for templates. I'm on holiday, and it says view filters. It automatically filtered to just the InDesign templates because I came over from InDesign. So that would make sense. I'm looking for, if I'm in InDesign, I'm most likely going to be looking for an InDesign template. However, if you said, hey, I want to see what's available for Photoshop, there are a bunch of Photoshop templates, or I'm an Illustrator user, there's a bunch of Illustrator templates, or I'm a Premiere Pro user, there's a bunch of motion graphic templates, and there are tons that are here for you to pick from, not all of which are free. So just keep that in mind. Luckily, the InDesign ones were free, or I could say all and just get the ones I want. Okay, So now back to InDesign. Now that we have our 2 templates to work with, we're going to go ahead, like I said, we're probably going to use this postcard. I'm just going to go ahead and double click on it, and it's going to give me an error. It's going to say, because I'm doing this as you would be doing it. It's going to say missing fonts, because in most cases, these templates were not only designed graphically by a designer, but they were also, typography was included, meaning they use specific fonts and styles and kerning and lettering and tracking and all of that. So with that said, that means that you may not have those fonts installed. Luckily, all the templates, if they use fonts at all, they use the ones from Typekit, which are usually a part of your membership, especially if you're using InDesign, you've already got access to them. So all I have to do is say sync fonts, and that will, the ones that are missing that I don't have, looks like all Balboa, and there's one Reclam script. If I say sync fonts, that will sync them down to my system. It will sync them to all my systems running Creative Cloud. And once it's done, there are no more missing fonts, and I can click close. And oh my God, I hadn't seen this in this real font yet. That Merry Christmas looks way better than the generic font that it was using to substitute. All right, so Dave Clayton's in the house. So what's up, Dave? Welcome. And welcome everyone else that's watching on Twitter. So with that said, now this is the one thing I want to stress about these templates. I can't stress enough. They're templates. They're not the law. They're not rules. They're not, you're not going to get in trouble for changing something or deleting something or removing something. No one's going to police your use of a template. They're just starting designs. They're just for you to pick apart and do whatever you want. You don't like that photo? Change the photo. You don't want the Merry Christmas to say Merry Christmas? You want it to say something else? Change what it says. You don't like the font? Pick a different font. You don't like the call now because it's not for a business? Delete it. You don't want the logo? Delete it. So or move it over or whatever you want. So you have complete control over this entire template. You don't have to live with any of this. You can keep all of it except for maybe change one thing, whatever you want, anywhere in between. So templates are just that. They're just templates. You use them any way you want. Now, in this particular case, this was designed as a postcard. So this would be the front of it. Page 2 would be the back of it. And maybe I'm not sending a postcard. I don't need a stamp. I don't need a place for the address there. Maybe I just want to make this the inside of the card. So I don't have to live with any of this. I could just simply, let me get rid of that first. And then let's go ahead and grab all of this stuff and just delete it and say, nope, I don't need any of that. Don't need any of that. It's gone. And no one's knocking on the door saying, you can't do that. I can. I just did. I just deleted it. See? All right. So maybe I want the image to fill the whole card. Now I made the frame bigger, but the image didn't get any bigger because it's whatever size it was in this frame. So I can just simply click on fill frame proportionally. And now my image is filling that frame. And now I cleared off that white space with whatever I want to put there. So keep in mind, you can redo these all you want. Yes, well, Franklin's asking, are these stock templates free to use commercially? Depends on what you mean by commercially. If you wanted to print them, use them for your business, and send them out as Christmas cards or holiday cards, absolutely, commercially that way. If you wanted to resell them and repackage them as templates, no. So it just depends on what you mean by commercially. I'm going to assume you meant the former, so yes, you could use them commercially, but you just can't resell them or put them in a product that's being sold. All right, so let's go ahead and zoom in on this page here. I'm going to move this over, and there are lots of things I like about this and a few things I don't. So first of all, I want to use my own custom image. It's great that they provided one with this template, and if I didn't really care, I could just go with that one, and away I went. I want to make it a little more personal. And I want this call now is really bugging me because this is about the holiday season, not call me for business. This is just me saying Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays or whatever you want. All right, so let's go ahead and swap out this photo. I have some family photos here. These aren't my family, but I have some family photos. Let's just try, I like the kids. I was going to use them. I use the kids on another one. Let's use this family here. I'm just going to drag and drop from my library. You can use file place, however you want to bring in your images. Now, if I click now, it's just going to simply add that photo. What I want it to do is replace this photo. So I'm going to hold down the Option or Alt key. so that when I click, it puts it in the existing frame, replacing the original one. And so once again, I'll select it and I'll do the same fill frame proportionally to bring it down. Now, photo looks great. Now nothing else does, or at least the Merry Christmas doesn't, because of it's covering the kid's face. It's just not in a good position based on the new photo. So we can, luckily these two words are separate, so we can put them together on one line. We can move them down, we can do whatever we want, because again, it's just a template. So if I thought, well, maybe it might look better over here, and I could maybe try something like that. Nah, I don't like that either. So let's move it over here. Let's move it that way some more, not on the edge, but close to the edge. Let's move the Christmas down here. And now we're getting there. The only problem is the text is now white on some white background there, so it's hard to read. So I can either do one of two things. I can change the color of the text and try and find a color that works great. Because it's over multiple different objects, so finding one color that would look good across all those objects could be a challenge, but I might be able to do that. Or I could simply put something else behind it so that it could stay whatever color it is and it's not a problem. So one of the ways I can do this is I can, first of all, let's try the color change. Let's grab our type tool. Let's just simply select the word Christmas. And of course we can go in and even gave us some colors with this template. So I can try the red and see what that looks like, or the burgundy. And again, it's kind of blending into the box. I could go back and choose maybe this gold. I like the gold a lot, actually. I'm going to use the gold for something else. So solid color just isn't going to work for me. I'm just not liking the way that's coming out. What I might want to try instead is something else. So let me go to the layers panel. And this is, again, nicely designed with layers so that I can turn things on and off. So there's a text layer, great. There's a design element layer, which is nothing on it right now. There's an images layer. And what I want to do is I'll use that design element layer. What I want to create on that layer is I'm going to go ahead and just create a frame, or just a box basically. So let me drag one out and put one right behind here. And because I put it on the design element, which is below the text layer, it automatically went behind it. I didn't have to do a send to back or anything like that. So it's looks good, hard, easier to see, but the wrong color. So let's go ahead and just simply switch this to maybe that burgundy with the gold trim. I might change that a bit. And what I don't want is I don't want a solid color there, even though it looks actually starting to look okay. I don't want a solid color there, so I'm just going to lower the opacity of this so we can kind of blend it in and kind of still see through it. That's kind of cool. All right, so next thing we'll do is we'll just simply take that same rectangle and we're going to hold down the Option or Alt key and duplicate it. So just going to kind of create an overlapping design of the shapes. And because of their transparency, where they overlap, it'll do something cool there, which is kind of nice. And basically just kind of tying it into the whole presents thing, the packages thing, so that we put our text in boxes as well. You can, of course, do this any way you want. It's your design. Now, if I were sending this out for my company, I would probably put my logo there. But again, these are all options. You don't want that logo. Oops, sorry, wrong tool. Let's get rid of that. You don't want this logo. You don't have to have that logo. You don't have to have anything there. It's your card. You can put whatever you want, or you can add other elements. So for example, if I do switch to my library, I have the ability in my library, if I scroll down here and show remaining images, I have the ability to grab my logo, which I need to move my logo to the closer to the top, like I added it early on. I need to drag my logo out. Okay, so I can click and move my logo and put my logo anywhere I want. And of course that's too big, but I just wanted to see what it looks like. Let's go ahead and scale it down a bit. And maybe like inconspicuously off to the side there. All right, so if you did want a logo, not a problem, put the logo in. Don't want a logo because it's personal, delete it. Now, what are we going to do with this second page? And again, we can do more there. Don't really see. I don't know what that little speck is behind them, but it'll give me an opportunity to show something else. So even though this image came from the library, it came from Adobe stock, that doesn't mean I have to live with it the way it is as well. So for example, I can go in and right click on this and I can choose edit original. That will take me over to Photoshop, and I can see whatever that is. It's kind of distracting to me, whatever that little white dot is. But I can go ahead and just simply remove it so that we don't see it while we're at it. Remove all of that too. Yeah, there we go. Just using the spot healing brush to kind of remove those slight distractions from the background. Save it, close it, switch back to InDesign. And InDesign automatically updates removing those items from it. So I love that, just being able to do that. All right, so let's switch down to part 2. Part 2 of this is all about the company and the services. And again, if you're using this template commercially, you may want all that. The other idea I had was maybe something along the lines of getting rid of all of this. Ooh, no, let's keep the text for example, because I like the 2 colors. Let's get rid of all of this. I could select these and get rid of them all together off their layers, but they're done now. The other thing I might do is I might draw another frame here. Let me make sure I'm on the right layer for this frame. I'm going to put this on the background layer. And now that I got this empty layer, this empty frame, I'm going to go ahead and fill that with, oh, I see that image is behind it. Okay, let's fill that with white. We can't see it because there is something above it. That photograph is above it. So let's go ahead and move it. Move it. Let's move that to there. There we go. All right, so now we got our nice white box with a gold stroke around it. And what I might want to do here is, instead of this being a traditional Christmas card where it's the a simple greeting on the inside or a signature on the inside, I might want to change this to, let's just do something. Let's try something here. That disappeared because the frame is too small for it. Let's make that frame bigger. There we go. Let's move this over. And let's change that from company to letter. Because a lot of times, remember back in the day when, especially kids going away to school, or just, people would send their Christmas letter just letting you know how their life has gone on over the years. You could kind of do the same thing here. So for example, we could go in, here, let me do one more thing. Let's go ahead and lock that. I want to lock that layer for now. Let's go ahead. Okay, we're going to create another new frame inside of it. And we don't have our letter prepared, but we could just, in the meantime, fill this with placeholder text. And it looks like that placeholder text is probably white. It is. Let's make that a different color. And of course, still using the zombie text from the previous How to Replace Your Lorem Ipsum episode. But anyway, you could go in and, of course, write your letter to be on the other side. Of course, your other side can have whatever you want on it. Just throw out an idea there. Don't use zombie text, though. That was fun from last time. Okay, and that would be pretty much it. You'd put whatever you want on the other side, whether it's a greeting, a Christmas letter, New Year's resolutions, whatever it is, and then export your image or your thing out. Now, of course, one of the reasons people would use InDesign is so that they could potentially print it. And of course, InDesign is great for printing. But of course, don't keep this in mind that, a lot of people in today's times, we don't really print a lot of things and mail them out anymore. We traditionally send them electronically. So one of the things I just want to point out is that you could make this a greeting that goes beyond the basic greetings that people have in the past. Let me show you. Let's switch from my Essentials workspace to my, maybe it's in my Terry White workspace. Or you could, you know what, I'll do it for you since you don't have a Terry White workspace. Let's switch to the digital publishing workspace instead. We're almost out of time, but we're going to steal a little bit more time here, doing a couple more things here. All right, so let's say we want to make this a little more interactive. Let's go ahead and select this rectangle, and we're going to go ahead and have this fly in from the left. This is all built in InDesign. We're going to select this rectangle. We're going to have it fly in from the bottom. We're going to select the Mary, and we're going to have the Mary just appear or dissolve in, fade in. Let's fade it in. And then we'll have the Christmas fade in as well. And I'm doing these in a particular order because that's the order I want it to happen in. So now if I were to preview this, it's very small. Let's make that bigger. There we go. Let's try that again. If I were to preview this, this is what it would look like. Doing exactly what I told it to do. Okay, so you're thinking, well, why would you go through the trouble of doing that for a printed piece? Well, you wouldn't, but you could go through the trouble of doing that for a publish online piece. So if we do publish online, that will give us the ability to say that we want to make our 2017 Christmas card interactive, and you could send a link for people to actually get it. So we'll just go ahead and publish this new document. All included in your Creative Cloud plan. Nothing you have to pay extra for. It's uploading, creating it, and we could go ahead and animate all kinds of things, but we're just, again, running out of time. It gives you a specific link to your specific card, which I'll copy that link. I could also share it on social media right here and right now, or email it. And if I go to my browser, which I think I was just in a minute ago, and I go look at my card, this is what it looks like. So I could actually send someone an interactive, animated, even with a video. If I place the video in InDesign right there, right now. So ways to think about sharing your card. And of course, if you want to go old school route, you always have the ability to simply print it or simply export out a PDF. Now, with that said, I said we're going to show you multiple ways. We spent the bulk of the time in InDesign, as I said, but there's one more way you might want to consider creating your holiday greetings, especially for those of you who are just doing it on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, so forth and so on. You might want to use a free product to do this. And if you're not a Creative Cloud member, this is where you come in. So you have the ability to go in and use a product called Adobe Spark. So if you head over to spark.adobe.com, spark.adobe.com, just making sure you know the URL. This will give you the ability, with just your Adobe ID, you don't have to pay for anything, to create custom greetings, sort of like what we just did. So I'm signed in, and I'm signed in as a branded person because I've got a paid account. But if I didn't, I can just jump over to Featured. If I go to Featured and scroll down, Craft Seasonal, you'll start to find seasonal templates to work with. And so, for example, I'm just, for the sake of time, I'm just going to pick this first one because I could spend all day trying to find just the right one. Pick the first one here, and I'm going to do the same kinds of things. I'm going to go ahead and replace the image because while that image is cute, I want to use something else. So I'm going to go ahead and just simply say that I want to replace it with, I could either upload my own photo, I could find free photos, just like this is a free photo. I could search Adobe Stock for photos. I use my Creative Cloud folder, my Lightroom images, my Dropbox or Google Photos folders as well. So I'm going to go to Adobe Stock because I've already got an image I want to use. I want to use the one with the kids. Let's use that one. So it's pulling my licensed image over from Adobe Stock. Again, you don't have to use Adobe Stock. You can use whatever image source you want. Pulls it right in, places it, and it even applied a filter to it for this template. So the filter is called Marion, and Marion's okay. It's a little too yellow for my taste for this image, so I'm just going to say none. And now the word holidays is in the way, or holidays. It's not holidays, it's a play on words. So I can go ahead and, of course, pick that up, move it around, and I can also double click on it and change it to whatever I want it to say. So if I wanted that to say Christmas or holidays, we did Christmas already. Let's do Happy Holidays. Let's go ahead and click Done. And now I got my Happy Holidays. And one of the cool things now is there's a new ability with words. You can click to make words, specific words, a specific color. So there's my Happy Holidays. And I'll take the holidays and make it kind of like that, or maybe like that. Yeah, kind of like the neon green effect there, just a little bit more greener than the traditional green. I also have the ability to rotate that a little further. And again, because I am branded with Spark, meaning that I have a paid account as a Creative Cloud member, I can also even add my logo there as well. So here are my logos. Click, boom, there's a logo. And of course, we can position that wherever we want it, wherever it makes sense, kind of down out of the way. That's only if you need a logo. You don't need to have a logo. You can just go. All right, now, what if I didn't like the type? I can go back to this and I have the suggestion wheel. Let's spin the suggestion wheel and see what happens. All right, so we just simply keep turning that and it will keep altering what that looks like based on the colors in the image and just different type styles that were put together that you can play around with. Now, if you find one you like, ooh, I kind of like these. I would love that if that maybe was scaled down a bit and wasn't covering his face, but I love that design. I think I'm going to stick with the original, but I just wanted to point these out. If you find one you like, but you want to change something about it, maybe that black bar is too dark or want to be a different color, you can. You don't have to live with any of these. But Spark is free. There's Spark Post, Spark Video, and Spark Page. And it's I'm doing it in the browser. If you have an iOS device, like an iPhone or iPad, you can download Adobe Spark and use it for free on your device as well, just like I'm doing here. But I'm doing it in the browser. That way it's cross-platform with anyone with a browser. All right, so once I'm done with this, I have the ability to download it, meaning take my design that I just customized with my photo, my text, my logo, and download this as an image that I can then share on social media. If I was on my iOS device, I could actually share it right from the app. All right, that is a lot going on in our Creative Cloud today. Hello, everyone that's joined in. Happy holidays. If I missed you and didn't give you a shout out, and especially my folks watching on Twitter as well, thank you for watching. And thanks, everybody. This was fun. We do this at least once a year. We might do it one more time before the year's out. You never know what might happen between now and next week. But if I don't get a chance to talk to you, happy holidays, season's greetings, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, happy whatever it is you celebrate. All right. If you are not done, if you want more, you can head over to behance.net, behance.net/live, and you can watch the last couple of hours of the UX UI design stream. So if you're into user interface or user experience design, Adobe XD is being featured for the next 3 days, starting today from 9 to 5 Pacific time, tomorrow 9 to 5 Pacific time, and Thursday 9 to 5 Pacific time. You can go ahead and watch those streams at behance.net/live all day, each day. And it's going on till 5 today, which is it's what, 1 o'clock there now for another 3 hours, maybe 3.5 hours. All right, so with that said, thanks everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye, everybody. Have fun.